Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial in this Call of Duty style loadout system tutorial series. In today's tutorial, we're going to be taking our images of the weapon within Unreal Engine without having to use any third-party software. Again, feel free to use a third-party software if it will be easy for you. As a beginner developer, you may or may not be familiar with a lot of the other softwares out there. So that's why I want to use Unreal Engine as your one-stop shop to get your pictures done as well. You could always choose to open up the actual static mesh of the weapon and then take a screenshot of this and then use it. It's not really going to look good because the grid lines in the back is going to show and such. So that's why I'm showing you this other option that you can always consider. And if you would want, you could always take a screenshot and take it out to other third-party applications and then remove the background and bring in the weapon texture in again. Now, the method I'm going to show you, it's pretty easy, but it's repetitive because you have to do it for each and every single weapon to get an image of every single weapon. If you already have the image of every single weapon without any background, it's cool. But if you don't, you can always feel free to follow this instruction. So let's go ahead and create a new folder and then name this portrait. Open this up and we're going to right click and create a new blueprint class and then select actor. This actor, we're going to name this pp_portrait and portrait scene. Again, we're only going to be using this blueprint to take our pictures. And after that, you no longer require this unless you want to keep this. And then whenever you add a new weapon, you can always use this scene to generate more and more pictures. So let's go ahead and open up the portrait. And in here, we're only going to be adding about two things. We're going to first go in and add in a static mesh and name this the weapon. Actually, we're going to name this the target. Target just indicating it could be a weapon, it could be lethals, it could be your tacticals and such. So I just wanted to name it generic like target. And then off of our default scene root, we're going to add another component, which is our scene capture 2D component. This is actually going to be our camera taking all the pictures. Now let's go ahead and move this camera out and also rotate it by 180. So it rotates that way. And for the target, let's set up a sample static mesh for now. I'm just going to select a new weapon. Here, this AR4 will do the trick. This is just a placeholder for now. Select the camera, and then we're going to, under texture target here, where it says scene capture, we're going to click on none, and we're going to click on this render target. This will ask us to point to a save folder. We're going to go into our portrait and then save it here as rt_portrait_, and then we're just going to leave it as that. Press save. Now we're going to go ahead and open that render target. So double click on it and you'll open it. And you will already see the AK right here. And again, the size is 256 by 256. We're going to make this 1024 by 1024. Press save. And then also we're going to put this side by side with our camera. So let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here. And then this portrait scene, we're going to actually pull it out as well. So now we have our render target, our weapon, and also the camera side by side. Now I'm going to go on to the top perspective and then try to center this as much as I could. Now this looks centered, and I'm also going to change the field of view a little bit so it's zoomed in. And this tells me that it's more, I need to move this more to the left. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit. Again, I'm going to turn off this snap to grid and then move it so I have a free choice of moving. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just trying to show you the best possible way to get it done. And then also we want this to zoom in a little bit more because we only want the weapon. Everything top and bottom is going to disappear eventually. The weapon is the only one that we're going to be using anyways. And the weapon does look a little bit dark. So let's add in a light here. We can actually use a rec light. I like using rec light because it's much of a soft light. So it doesn't have any sharp edges to it. Let's go back to our perspective to see where it's facing. Okay, and there we go. Let's make this 180. All right. And then also this barn door angle, I'm going to reduce it. And the source width, let's make it a little bit bigger so it's not pointing right in the middle. Same for the height as well. It has a little bit of a flare. This intensity, we're going to make this into like 3500. That looks pretty good. It actually shows the actual mesh of the weapon very clearly, and it separates it from the background. And I think this would do the trick. So let's go ahead and compile this scene. And now you have your portrait. So let's go ahead to our content drawer. Go back into where we made our data sets. We need to go through all of these weapons one by one and then take the pictures. I'm going to go ahead and open up our data set. Now we need to go through each and every single weapon here and then take an image of every single weapon. So first, let's start with the AK-47. I'm going to select on this browse to asset. So it takes me to exactly where the asset is. It's this one right here with the Y. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my portrait scene here, select the static mesh, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this arrow. That should change it to the AK. Just to make it easier for me to go and switch between both all of these folders, I'm going to take my portrait folder, right click on it, and I'm going to add it to favorites. So it moves up to the top. And now I can go to my portrait folder. Inside the portrait folder, I can see RT portrait. I see the AK gun. So this looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on this and then say create static texture. What this will do is right now this is a render target. If I move the camera in the scene or change the image, this will change as well. But as soon as I create a static texture, it's going to make this as a static image. So this will no longer change with the camera changing. I'm going to go ahead and right click and save it. When you open it, you will notice that it actually has the default texture on it. That's because you need to go and change your compression settings from HDR to HDR compressed, and then that will fix the problem. And I'm going to do this for every single weapon. I'm going to go ahead and rename this portrait, and I'm going to name this underscore AK-74. One quick tip here, if your image ever populates with the gray checkerboard sign in the background, just delete that image and then resave or recompile your portrait blueprint and then recreate the static texture, and then that should fix the problem. Next I'm going to do is my SMG, click on the SMG, click on the folder icon. That will open up the folder and select the SMG. Go to my portrait scene and then click on the arrow to add the SMG to it. The SMG has a weird different rotation to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and make it rotate 90, and that's it. Now I'm going to go back to my portrait folder to take a look at how the SMG will look. SMG is shifted a little bit to the right. Move the camera. Again, it's just if you had the same developer creating the material for you, it would have been all like in the proper position. But because we downloaded from all over the place, this is I guess, the cost of getting things done. But it's still fine. It's still free assets that we're working with. So for training purposes and such, this is just perfectly fine. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead, right click, and then they create static texture. And then name this SMG11, text SMG11. Again, I'll show you one more. I'm going to go to this light machine gun, click on the asset icon, and that'll select the actual asset. Go back into your portrait scene, select your static mesh, and then click on this arrow, and that will add the asset in here. This asset is rather large, so I'm going to make it into 0.01, 0.001. There you go. Whatever it takes to get it small. And then now I'm going to go and check my portrait to see exactly, oh, it also needs to be rotated the other way. Here, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this as well. So that would be about 90 here. There you go. And now if I go and check my portrait image, it looks good. It's cut out a little bit here, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that by moving the camera. I think that looks about good. I don't think I need to move this any further. Yeah, this looks about good. And from this angle, you can actually see that I can move this a little back. This little thumbnail actually shows you a much better view of where the gun and the camera is positioned. There you go. This looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead, right click, create static texture. And then immediately I'm going to rename this into GPRDX11, GPRDX underscore 11, just to keep it consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for shotgun as well. Select the mesh, go into the portrait, go ahead and then click on this arrow that will add the shotgun into the scene. I go into the and then reset the scale and reset the rotation, and that should put the shotgun in proper rotation. Let's check our portrait here. It looks like the shotgun is up and also a little bit to the front, so we can fix that. There you go. I'm going to right click here, create static texture. This one would be RT underscore shotgun. Next is our sniper. I named this LR5734. Click on this file icon, that will bring in the sniper. And again, the sniper is very big, so when it comes into the scene, it's going to be massive. So here, when I put it in here, and again, it doesn't even have the 0. So if I zoom out, you'll probably see the sniper up there. So let's rotate it. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees. Oh, actually, let's do 180. So it's facing the, 270. So it's facing the correct angle. And then also let's make this 0.01. That too big, too small? Not bad. Let's see how this looks in our portrait. The size is okay. Let me take a look. Yeah, the size is okay. I just need to move the camera back. If I see here, you should see the portrait actually shifted down and it looks like it's in the middle. Again, you can always redo this portrait and make it as to your liking. And I'm just, kind of eyeballing everything here and then trying to get this done as quickly and efficiently as possible. All right, right click on the sniper, create a static texture. Name this the LR57, 57 underscore 34. There you go. That'll do the trick. So that's it for the weapons. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the rest of the assets, including our lethals and melee perks and all of that. And I'm going to fast forward it and then get it done. Same exact process, nothing's really changing. All right, so this is all the portraits completed for each and every single lethals, tacticals, weapons, and also our sidearms and melees. I have went ahead and created images for our perks as well, and I'm going to drag and drop it in here, and that will get loaded in. And now the last thing that we're going to do is we can go ahead and close our scene and also the portrait. We no longer need this anymore. We're going to go to our content drawer, go to our lethals, open up the data table, and now we're going to assign the portrait that we have taken for each and every single line item. For the frag, I'm going to go ahead and search for frag, select the portrait. And for the stick grenade, again, I'm going to search for the stick grenade that we just created. Now we can go ahead and close it, go to the melee, select the weapon, and then the knife, and then I think it's named as knife. And there it is. Okay, now we can save this and close it. Next up, we have our perks. Again, I'm going to assign the 3 new perk images that I just brought in. First one is health. Second one is stamina. And the third one is armor. You can save this and close this up. Next up is our secondary weapon. Open up the data table, select the pistol, and then set the pistol. I think I named it sidearm. Yeah, sidearm, and there it is. And next is our tacticals. We're going to go ahead and open the tacticals. First, we're going to search for the smoke. Select the smoke portrait. Next is the stun. This will be our stun portrait. There we go. And the last one is our weapons. We're going to go one by one for the AK-74 or AK-47. We're going to search for AK-74 portrait. And then the SMG-11. Next up is our GP RDX. We have our shotgun. I think I named this as just shotgun. Oh. And the sniper, we have the LR57. There you go. And that completes our portrait session as well. And we have done creating all the portraits for all of our weapons datasets as well. And that completes today's tutorial on how to take the images inside of Unreal Engine without using any third-party software and assigning them to your datasets.